Welcome to the flowerschool.com video library. I'm Leanne Kessler, Director of the Floral Design Institute, and today I want to share with you how to create a Technicolor bridal bouquet. Hot summer weddings, hot colors that pop, easy to do when you know the techniques. To create the bouquet, a stem of Cymbidium Orchids, breaking off each floret, and a plant. I use a 4-inch Kalanchoe plant, and then succulents. Now the succulents I've already painted in tangerine and fuchsia. And yes, it's just Design Master, painted away. They paint fabulously, and then they hold so well. You can see the colors, stunning. I cut each of the blooms right off the stem. And then wiring them using a 22 gauge wire. I like that medium weight, just piercing through the stem and then bending it straight down. Then I can go through and tape over the top. And I don't need to go all the way to the bottom, but at least 1/2 to 2/3 straight down like so. Again, it's pierce through the stem, bend it straight down, and then go through and tape. And do this with each blossom. Now on the succulents, it's the exact same thing, except they're a little heavier, so you're going to want to use 2 wires as you do it. Rather than go to 1 heavy wire, take 1 and pierce through the stem, bend it down, then turn it and do a cross pierce the opposite direction, bend it down. Now you have 4 wires, so you've got that extra stability. Then go in, tape it from the tip top and down again about 1/2 to 2/3. Once the wiring and taping is done, the hard work is over. Now you just gather it up into a tight clutch. Start with the heaviest things, the succulents. They certainly are the heaviest. And that will become the base of the bouquet. Tucking them together, wires straight down. Adding in the 3rd. Then, once you have those stable, you can go back and tape them together just to be safe so that they don't wiggle around on you. Gives you a nice solid start to the bouquet. Don't need to go all the way down, just binding them together a bit. Then going back with the lighter blossoms, the cymbidiums, you can feed them through the center, letting them tuck above, nestling them in. Or you can bring them in from underneath, bending the wire so that it tucks in, overlapping, and tucking. You can see the colors just pop when you put them right up next to each other. And just spin the orchid around until it's the right direction. And break off a couple of those. They're in the way. Save them. Might use them later. And then tucking him in. And you can see it's a very tight, compact clutch, just loaded with color. To cover the back mechanics and the taped wires, we're going to set this down and using a little bit of ruscus. Don't need to wire it, just give it a cut into smaller pieces. And then attach them to the back, kind of wrapping around the whole stem. Making sure that you get all of the wires concealed. And then taping it securely in place. Nice and tight. That holds the stems together, all the flowers in place, and then also the foliage to cover up that back side. I'm going to go back over the top again just to get a nice secure covering. You don't want that to loosen up at all. And once that's complete, setting it down into the vase so that I can use both hands. And for this part with the kalanchoes, all I do is cut them off and then glue them directly into place. I know, sounds too easy, doesn't it? But Kalanchoe holds so well. It doesn't dehydrate too rapidly, doesn't need to be wired and taped. So just using a tiny bit, the Oasis Floral adhesive, right on the end of each. Dab it with the glue, lift apart, and then slide it down in. Again, dab it with the glue. Lift apart and slide it down in. For the handle, I'm going to use some wonderful wired wool. To get it started, I loosen up the end and pull out some of that wire, give it a cut, so that I've got just some loose wool that I can make sure and tuck over the end and hold it into place. Then the handle itself, I need to go back and tape it. Make sure it's completely covered. Going down. As I get close to the bottom, I want to determine how long do I want these wires and cut them off just a bit so that they're all the same length. Then finish taping over, making sure that no wires will poke out, hurt anyone. Over the end. Then to help get it started, I get little tiny dab of the Oasis Floral adhesive right on the bottom. That will help the wool cover stay put. Let it dry just a bit. Then just wrapping it on there. Then once that's secure, taking the wool and just wrapping from the bottom, round and round and round, all the way up to the top. And the wool has some dimension to it, so it's not going to be even. It's going to have bumps in it, which makes it more fun to hang on to. A little more texture. Keep wrapping. If you want it to be a little thicker, go up to the top. And then start back down to the bottom, getting a little more coverage. And then back up to the top. And then give it a cut. Wrap it around, fold it onto itself, and pull it taut. Colors that pop, perfect for a hot summer wedding. Now, if you need help on how to wire and tape, it's in the video library. If you want a little more knowledge of how to work with succulents, that too is in the Flower Club library. So be sure, check out the website. There's so much more to see at flowerschool.com. If you have questions, you can reach us through there or by telephone at 1-800-819-8089. And now it's your turn. As you're creating, take a picture. I want to see what you do. Send it off to me. You can use my personal email. It's Leanne, Leanne, @floraldesigninstitute.com. Have fun and do something you love.